yet. They already kick off to Auntie. They're gonna end it on top. BTK have done it. They made their statement. The West has caught up. That's game number 1 going over to BTK.
From there he jumps in and gets through. Solid still trying to defend, but the Valley are here to upset the world stage.
We're in an era where underdog teams like Team Spirit and SRG can rise up and take down giants in the MLBB esports scene. With NACT around the corner, it's time for the seasoned teams to lay it all on the line. Or maybe, just maybe, it's time for a new contender to climb up and claim that throne.
NA is an easy server. It depends. I think compared to PH and Indo, which have significantly more players, NA has a smaller pool of competitive players, and in turn, there's less competition when you're really at that higher caliber. Now, for pro players in NA, in order to get better, they should probably watch more international gameplays. For example, learn from the Yudu Red Giants from Malaysia, who surprised the world with their performance at MSC. Now, for an average ranked players who just want to have fun, maybe be less toxic, troll less, and stream snipe less. Focus on adjusting in solo queue and dual queue and make sure your entire team has a fun experience by clinching that victory together.
What's up, everybody? Steph Weezy in the building. Word around town is that North America's an easy server. It's no secret we didn't have the best performance in MSC 2024, but with NACT Fall right around the corner and registration opening, it's our chance to prove the world wrong. Make sure you guys register for NACT Fall season before the registration closes. A little bit of tips and advice that I'd give to you guys who are looking to compete. Find a team that you can build synergy with. Find a team, despite losing, despite having some hard times, you stick together and you push through it and you find solutions. Honestly, a team that sticks together wins together. I hope to see you guys in the NACT Fall season, and good luck in registration.
We are seeing that BTK again. I want to emphasize this one more time. No coach, no analyst, no problem.
They are on it! The biggest upset here so far! BTK have beaten Blacklist International! GG!
Touch up right, BJ. Touch up right, BJ. Right? I love you guys.
Two-person just win. We're coming. We're gonna compete.
Definitely do not underestimate us as much as they did. People probably feel take us more seriously now, especially considering our accomplishment back then.
I want to be the first in the world. I want to win a world championship. And the only way to really do that is day in and day out. There's no relaxing. You have to keep going.
Here comes the Valley!
Boone is giving a coach inspiring BTK. Me, Shark, Boone, Chicken, and Zia are all in BTK now.
are back, everyone, to day one of the regular season of the NACT 2024. Thank you all for your patience. I know I said 5 minutes, but I promise you the wait is worth it, because second half we have BTK versus GOSU Night Horde. Joining with me at the caster deck today is Private Dancer and the one and only Sayuri.
Yeah, before we get to that BTK match, just a recap of the dominating performance that we saw from Godspeed up here. I was going to say just a little bit ago, but it was a while ago that we saw in the first. A 4-0 complete sweep for Godspeed over last minute.
Yeah, last game we both watched that Godspeed had 13-minute, actually 12 to 13-minute matches against last minute, and it just really shows how speedy they are in trying to end the matches today, which is really good for them, as they did 4-0 last minute today.
They really set the tone for today's series by winning the games in Godspeed. But speaking about the second half of the match, we do have BTK. I know everyone has been waiting for that. A lot of you guys actually sticked through the 60 minutes with us. The tournament schedule is set in the beginning of the day, so if you want to know how long or which games take place at what time, you can check out the tournament schedule posted in the very beginning. And for this match, BTK, I almost thought we won't see BTK this season as the name itself, but it seems like the powerhouse of North America makes it to the NACT every season.
Not just a return of BTK, but a return to as close as we can get to BTK Prime. The same, I want to say, 4 members that had that historic M3 rush that you have seen repeated there through the pause screens, sans, and the inclusion of one member that most North Americans never thought that they would see on BTK in Hoon.
Yeah, like you said, who would have thought we would have seen a BTK Hoon, as we know that Hoon is very much a loyal GOSU person and a GG player. So him coming into the roster this season with Mobazane is going to be very interesting, as he's branded under BTK and also playing alongside a lot of our favorite players like Fried Chicken and Zia, as well as Shark. Yeah, so it's really interesting.
And it's interesting because the first series are going to be against the GOSU. And let's check out the lineup for BTK. Already mentioned Boy Chicken in the XP lane, Mobazane in the jungle, Hoon in the mid lane, Super Shark on roam, and Zia in the gold lane.
Yeah, it's amazing to see. Arguably, right now, these are some of the best players in their positions in North America. I know as the weeks go on, will that possibly change? We'll find out. But for right now, a lot of these guys have already proven themselves. And here they're going to be putting that, I want to say, that title of #1 on the line.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting to see this new lineup coming from Zane. And we know that I think a lot of these players are a lot of people's fan favorite players for the lane, so it's gonna be really exciting to see how well they do this upcoming season against a lot of the teams coming in NACT.
And for GOSU Night Horde, we have Mikasa on the XP lane, Dez in the jungle, Legend in the mid lane, LC1 on roam, and Yellow BC as the gold laner. Dez is actually going to be playing against BTK, some of his old teammates from GGA.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting here. Dez, who's gained a lot of popularity as a streamer on YouTube for Mobile Legends. A lot of people definitely looking for him to show out here tonight, and especially on a team like Night Horde, who I want to say from the beginning of NACT had some rocky starts, but in the last 2 seasons have really started to make a name for themselves.
Yeah, I wonder why, not like I wasn't there last season. I'm not trying to say anything, but no, Night Horde did really well last season, and I'm really happy that they're back this season, as well as getting a rebrand and becoming GOSU Night Horde with a whole new lineup. And I'm really excited to see how well they do against BTK today, as well as for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and I wonder which team Sayuri put
Oh no, guys!
on her caster prediction. Oh, look at that. Nighthorn Sayuri picked BTK with the rest of us. Explain, please.
Oh,
No
okay, guys. I'm so
loyalty.
sorry. See, I was gonna pick my lovely, be trusted Nighthorn King, but I know that BTK's new lineup is really close to M3's lineup, and also, so honestly, I also wanted my 100% caster prediction, right? So I may have picked BTK, but my spirit and joy goes to Nighthorn still. So please don't come at me, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and
Well,
private.
I mean,
what about you?
Honestly, I mean, Night Horde, they had an impressive season last season. I'm looking for them to improve. And what a way to start off the season than against, I want to see the North American love child, BTK, the newly revamped BTK. They have a heck of a mountain to climb in front of them here tonight.
And
Yeah,
Sayuri is
as you
texting
said,
Nighthorn
I'm really
trying
excited.
to resolve the problem that
Yeah, I may be getting backlash right now for picking BTK, so I'm so sorry. But I'm really excited to see how well these two teams do against each other, as they are returning teams for NACT season. Yeah.
Yeah, and let's check out what are some fun facts about our players. For Foy Chicken from BTK, his role is XP lane. He does not have a favorite player, or comment below if you guys know what dot means. Favorite hero is a horse. That's why he is the infamous Foy Horse. Hobby, not sure yet. I hope he can find a hobby by the end of the season. School, hometown, Scamberg. Is it somewhere in Boston, guys? Device, Red Magic 9S Pro.
That would be Schaumburg. He's from Illinois, the same states as your lovely private dancer. So I'm a little more acquainted with him. He's very near Chicago. So very interesting to see there are no hobbies. I'm pretty sure Mobile Legends could be listed as a hobby. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting. He's one of the ones that I think is one of the hardest workers in North America right now. And I am very much wanting to see how he kind of levels up to some of the top in North America in that XP lane.
Yeah, honestly, I think Fried Chicken's hobby might just be playing Mobile Legends. Bang bang. What do you think?
Well, I hope that is indeed the case. For GOSU Nighthorn, we have Mikasa. His role is XP lane, XP versus XP, eh? Favorite hero is Freya. Oh, that is something that we all know. Favorite player, not to be found yet. I guess both of them are in love with themselves. Hometown, Maryland. Hobby, working out. That's also, we can tell. And device, iPhone 14 Pro.
Yeah, very interesting to see, to get these little inside looks to a lot of these players out there. And you see, and this is the matchup I'm going to be wanting to see. Mikasa has some big shoes to fill. This is just like we saw from the last matchup when it came to Rome. But here, I want to say each and every one of the players from Night Horde is going to have to put their best foot forward against the likes of BTK.
Yeah, honestly, I did wish that Mikasa put me as his favorite player, because we have been partners for a while, and I do deal with him a lot, so I think that's pretty fake of him. So maybe that's why I'm not repping them right now, but it's okay. Still my favorite player. Still my favorite EXP.
Your favorite ESP is Mikasa? Sorry,
Yeah.
did I get that wrong?
Yes, but he is my favorite. If he's watching, Mikasa, you're my favorite EXP.
Ooh, a new ship going on. I mean,
there's no ship.
Have some development on that. But before everything, guys, I think we're forgetting something. A giveaway for all the viewers watching. Thank you for your patience once again. On the screen, you see the code as well as the QR code for a skin for Alice, Spirit Woman, 30 hero skins. First come, first serve. Make sure you get your phones out right now.
Yeah, Spirit Woman Alice, the skin that you guys will be rewarded with. But just like before, you have to hurry up to try to get the scan in. There are only 30 hero skins to go around.
Yeah, guys, hurry up and go scan that QR code or put in that code for a free skin before I put it in and get hero fragments from it, since I already have that skin.
Oh, it must be a nice skin if you already have it. But yeah, guys, we are getting ready for the match of the century. Not the match of the century, but I think it's a meaningful milestone match for NA, especially having the GOSU name. As well as play kind of in sub of the entire season last season. And we have Hoon joining hands with Zayn. That's the first for North America. That's something that I think we're all excited about. They've been practicing for the past month, and now is the time to see how they shine on the big stage. And with that being said, Private Dancer, take us into the draft.
Well, this is going to be the monumental moment that a lot of North America has been waiting for. Is this going to be a return to true form for BTK? Are they going to be able to get that win over Night Horde? Or is Night Horde maybe have a surprise in store for BTK, as they have been one of the teams that have kind of stayed together, have kind of sustained through a lot of the season. So they do have that synergy, do have that kind of joint teamwork that they can put up against a team like BTK.
Yeah, I would like to agree with what you say, but let's get into the draft and bans. We do see a ban coming from Night Horde, the Chip, as well as BTK side banning out the Ling and the Matilda. I feel like these are also pretty normal bans. As you can see, the Chip has been banned a lot in this season, during this NACT so far, as well as the Ling, possibly to counter Dez, as we know that Dez is a really good assassin jungler player playing in NA, and the Matilda ban, which is also something that was banned a lot in last few matches. Yeah.
I think a question that is on a lot of people's mind is going to be the jungle matchup with Dez, who has a huge fan base right now in North America and a well-known assassin jungler. On that note as well, on the opposite side of the card, when it comes to BTK, Zayn has a mirrored history when it comes to assassin junglers. And I think a lot of people want to see here tonight, does Zayn have something different in store for us? Or maybe has he kind of delved with both feet into this meta, picked up some of those assassins that he might be willing to output here tonight?
Yeah, as we know, MOBA Zayn, our beloved North American jungler, he is a tank jungler main, as we can see previously from the last few seasons in NACT, as well as a lot of 20s outside of NA. But coming into this meta with assassins, Zayn might not have the upper hand, as he's very used to the tank jungler, but I have seen him use or started using a lot of assassins. That does include like heroes like Nolan and Hayabusa, so I'm really excited to see what he brings out for us this season.
As far as I've seen, I want to say he does have some great picks when it does come with the Bane picks. Julian, I've seen him playing on his stream. He can do very well here. First pick gonna be put in with the Edith, which I like because it does kind of leave open the position for Edith. This can go into the XP lane just as well as it can go into the roam. In some options, it can even go into the marksman lane. So a nice lucid pick there for BTK.
Yeah, I'm loving that really versatile first pick on the side of is also still meta right now for EXP and roaming lane. But on the side of Night Horde, we do see an Arlaw as well as an Alpha pick. Really interesting coming in from Dez. I do know that Zayn actually also does play Alpha, as you've seen on streams and tournaments. He's pretty good at Alpha, but Dez has picked that up on the side of Night Horde, as well as Mikasa picking up an Arlot, which we don't see as often, but I do know, watching previous seasons of NACT, he's pretty good on the Arlot, so we'll be seeing what he brings out today.
Yeah, very interesting pick up there. I love the strategy there in mind. MOBA Zayn kind of showed that he is probably one of, if not the best Alpha player, at least North America, even can be contended with that Alpha. So it's a very nice and smart pickup from Dez to go ahead and take that off the table. And as I talked about before, we're going to have that Bane pickup from the side of BTK.
Yeah, Bane has been really prioritized or really used a lot in the jungle. So I feel like maybe it's a little bit of meta right now, as we've seen earlier. It was used in the side of Godspeed as well as on the side of Last Minute. But we also see an Alice pick coming out from the side of BTK. Really interesting. I'm not really sure where Alice would go. She does have a few positions where she could go on either the XP side or possibly who picking it up on the mid lane. Not really meta, as it does take a while for her to scale. So I'm really hoping to see what Alice will bring out for us today.
Yeah, this is a very interesting pick for BTK with the Alice pickup. It still kind of is flexible. Like you said, you have the XP lane, maybe in the mid lane, and that's kind of speaking for two picks on the side of BTK. Zane picking up, I mean, we already know where, or at least we think we know where this Bane is going to be going. On the opposite side there from GOSU Night Horde, we do see the Lolita pickup. No stranger to that nerf hammer. She did get a few rounds of nerfing for her kits coming up here, but it does look like Night Horde still have some faith in her capabilities.
Yeah, Lolita, I feel like her shield does counter BTK's side a lot. Using that skill too is able the basic attacks coming from the Edith, as well as Alice's first skill and ultimate from Bane. So I think this pick is a really great pick coming in on the first 3 picks for the side of Night Horde.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing if you've ever seen a deadly catch countered and all of the sharks just bounce back off the shield and start coming back for your team. It's really an interesting sight to see there. We're going to see how well they can kind of utilize that and time that against MOBA Zane here. As we move into the second banning phase, we see that Zuxin and Angela taken off the board for GOSU Night Horde.
Yeah, really interesting. I think these two bans are more so less targeting Hoon. I think that they banned Zushin, even though Zushin did get a little nerf. It's really interesting. This is the first time we've seen it banned in the series so far, or since the last series. And I think Zushin is a really annoying hero. So even with the nerf, she still has a lot of capabilities with her kit of throwing people around and just like, doing all these things with her CC kit. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be very exciting here. The focus on the marksman, the gold lane for BTK's side. And it looks like the Night Horde kind of honing in on that mid lane. We're going to see what kind of development comes here as all the bans are done. And we are just left up to those last 2 hero picks for both sides.
So both sides did target a single lane. On the side of BTK, they did target the marksman side, but we do see a Lunax getting picked up. And I think Lunax is also, like Edith, a very versatile hero. She can get well as the gold lane, and as we can see, these 2 lanes are the lanes that are opened up currently. So it's going to be really interesting. But on the side of BTK, we have an Eve pickup as well as a Jawhead. Eve right now, I do not see her being played at all. She's not really meta. She was meta a few seasons back, but she did get a few nerfs. So it's really interesting to see Hoon picking that up. But also, we do see a Jawhead. What do you think about that Jawhead?
So I have to wonder, is Jawhead going to be in the XP lane? Is that going to be yeah, it's going to be in the roam position for Shark. I want to say he's kind of slipped back into the meta, where there was a little bit of point where Jawhead was in the meta. I want to say a year ago, where a lot of people had trouble working with Jawhead when he would flicker in, be able to get that ejector and toss opponents back, just like a Way of the Dragon from Cho, where he could isolate certain opponents, push them back into the team, and then get bursted down. I feel like right now it's in a good place. A lot of people have forgotten about Jawhead, and they don't exactly know how to deal with him, with the especially with the burst that he can bring in that early game.
Yeah, looking at both sides of BTK and Night Horde, we do see that both sides do not have a marksman. Rather, they do have magic damage on the gold lane. So that's going to be really interesting to see, where both sides do not have any pushing damage, but more magic damage. But let's get into the match.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is the second match of the night, the inaugural match of BTK and Night Horde. We're going to see who has what it takes here at the top of North America as we go into game 1.
Ooh. We do see but we do see the side.
Yeah, a little bit of a pause coming out, ladies and gentlemen. And like we said, we do like to keep this as even as possible for both teams. So if one of them is having issues, we will take a little bit of time to kind of make sure it is sorted out. But from what you saw there, Sayori, which type of composition were you kind of leaning towards?
You know, I'm going to be super honest with you. Both compositions did look a little sus to me, but I think I did like Nighthorde's composition a little bit more. Not because I'm favoriting them, but because I do like the draft and the picks they have, especially that Lolita, which is able to basically block and counter a lot of the team players from BTK and is able to set for her team. But what do you think, Prive? What do you think about that?
Yeah, for me, I'm not gonna lie, I do like on paper the composition for Nighthorde. It does seem like a good counter for BTK, but we've seen this before here in North America, especially with a team like BTK. It's not just the composition you have to be worried about. The big thing on a lot of people in North America's mind is the synergy, how great these players are at macro and micro on a lot of these heroes. Shark is probably a key role. We saw it in the interview when they were talking about top roams. Shark is a key role when it comes to giving his team vision, harassing the enemy, and then just finding these openings for his team. So it's going to be a very interesting. I'm getting word that the reason we had the little bit of a pause is that Hoon lagged out, so they immediately went for the pause. So we're just waiting for that reconnect, and then we can get right back into this game, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see Shark on the Jawhead. I think he's a pretty good roamer right now, as he is used a lot in North America. And he's all right. No, in rank, I see a lot of players using it in ranked matches in NA, but it's NA, so not really oversee competition use. But also that Eve is a really interesting pick. I used to actually be a really big Eve spammer. She was really fun to me. I just threw out skills and slowed people, but she did get a few nerfs, so she's not really in the meta currently, but you know, she's wiggling in with Hoon playing Eve first game.
Yeah, but ladies and gentlemen, it does look like we are about to restart here. Both junglers here working their way through the buffs.
Yeah, as we can see, Zane has gotten help from Shark starting his red buff. He is clearing his jungle faster than Dez, as Dez is still working on his blue.
Yeah, that's really interesting too there, especially with the amount of damage that Shark does very early on that Shark. That is a huge advantage already. As you can see, Zane starting to work his way down towards the bottom, and that's Gold Crab stolen away by Dez. He actually prioritized the gold minion since he knew he was a little behind with that jungling.
Yeah, on both side lanes, we do see they're a little pretty even. The matchup is pretty even. But we do see on the side of Nighthorde, they're trying to, you know, do some damage while Zane and Hoon are in the jungle, but they're back at mid side, so.
Yeah, very interesting. Hoon already used that flicker very early in the game. We see the rotation there. Mobazane sees it, so now top lane is going to be warned that they do have members coming. Fly Chicken, actually takes a little bit of damage. 3 members coming from the side, but Fly Chicken, no worse for wear, able to kind of create that distance. And he's maybe drawing it a little close there. He does not want to give up these minions, even though I want to say the smart play would probably be to back up. That's not what you get from like one of the top XP laners in North America.
Yeah, as you can see, Nighthorde, they're doing really well in rotations. They are dominating this early game with Dez already on the turtle, and his teammates are coming to help. I think this is a free turtle towards the size of Dez, the first turtle going towards Nighthorde.
And this isn't something uncommon that we've seen before. It wasn't a great positioning there. Shark did find himself an ejector on to Legend, but it just really wasn't in a good position for the rest of the team to take advantage. So they went ahead, they let them get the turtle, and they're going to continue letting Zane go ahead and try to farm up through this early game.
Yeah, I like how Shark is giving vision for BTK, but I feel like Hoon is getting bullied a lot on the mid lane side, where both the mid laner and roamer are rotating with each other. So Hoon is just left to defend by himself on mid side, but Shark is back at the mid lane, mid bush with Hoon right now.
Yeah, and that's a great point there too, as you were talking about like Hoon, and this is kind of one of the little fall points when it comes to having a mid like this, where they've nerfed a lot of the damage, a lot of the slow that they can put out there, and he's not exactly able to rotate with Shark right now, which has been very integral right now in the meta with Assassins, where you want your jungle, your mid, and your roam to rotate very tight, very together, and to get those ganks into the side lanes.
Yeah, but right now we can see that both sides are doing pretty good, with Nighthorde ahead by 1k gold, but the scoreboard still at 3 minutes is at 0-0, so pretty interesting.
Yeah, you can see here, actually, it does look like Dez is up by about 100 gold. That's about minimal right now. We do know that both of these jungles probably have different objectives in mind, whereas Zane, what we saw from like the first game when we saw Bane out there, he really shines when it comes to those towers and pushing towers and objectives and things like that. So that's maybe where BTK is warming up and looking for an opportunity. Ejector does land onto Legend, whom puts a little bit of damage, but not too scared, is a Legend who's going to kind of back up from behind the tower.
Yeah, we do see a turtle coming up. Legend possibly having to back, as he is half HP right now, but we do see on the side of BTK, they are in the better position, being on turtle uncontested, with Dez not coming, but Dez is possibly going to the red buff side instead.
Yeah, really interesting there. A little bit of mistiming potentially coming from the side of Nighthorde there, where Dez was not in a position to go ahead and get the Lord, even though I want to say like they had a good matchup when it came to it. They could have gone for it. They could have fought for it, but he just wasn't in the proper position to go ahead and contest that. Looked for something at the bottom, but just a little hesitant to get down to that XP lane, or to get down to that gold lane.
Right, I agree with you. I think Dez was a little out of position. His whole team was right next to the turtle, so the fight would have been even with a 4v4 on the turtle fight, but it's okay. The scoreboard is even with 1-1 on turtle right now.
Yeah, right now 0-0 apiece. Both these teams are paying a very big respect, not wanting to make the first mistake, not wanting to put themselves in a position that they might cost them teams a death just yet. But right now you can see, I mean, even on the gold as well, both these teams, I guess we're just waiting for a first team to kind of get one of those clashes in.
Yeah, as you can see, both teams are really even right now. Even hitting the 5-minute mark, we still are at a point of 0-0, so no deaths so far. The gold is pretty close, with Nighthorde being up on the lead by around 300 gold, but not that much, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, really interesting for me is just to see this Alice in the gold lane. I'm very curious to see how well it performs there. I mean, it is kind of going up against Yellow as this Lunux, so it's going to be it's just an all-around. We've talked about this before, me and you, when it comes to like the gold lane. There's a lot of different things that can go into the gold lane, and just like that, when we were talking about the sieging ability of this Bane, he did throw out that deadly catch, put a little bit of damage on their Shark, finds himself an ejector, puts Alcy1 right up in front to Mobazane, but he is getting caught there. Mikasa throws in a final slash, and that's going to be a first blood going over to Legend and GOSU Nighthorde. This battle is not over. Shark still in the fight, going to use that flicker to get himself out of harm's way. Mobazane coming in with the crab claw, has the deadly catch come out, but Dez still able to scoop up the next turtle.
Wow, that was really amazing. I liked how Mikasa on Arlott was able to come down on his lane and just swipe Hoon. But as we see another fight here, we have Fried Chicken and Shark going down to the side of Nighthorde. I like how they're all stacking together as a team, even right after the turtle fight. So that's great synergy right there, and team comp.
Yeah, and a great job to be able to kind of offset BTK there, keep them at bay, zone them out while you get the turtle. They missed the first one. The second one, they weren't in a great position. Deadly Catch goes out, and doing a great job right now is GOSU Nighthorde. Oh, we do it. The real world manipulation is out. Legend trying to burst down the damage onto who might actually get caught there by Fried Chicken, but finds himself an escape with the black shoes.
Yeah, honestly, BTK isn't really doing so hot right now. They're not in their best shape right now at 7 minutes. Scoreboard is only 0-4, with GOSU Nighthorde being up by 3k gold, but possibly could have a game turnaround.
Oh, and that flicker with the darkening is going to be all she wrote for Fried Chicken. Even used his primal wrath, and it was not enough to do the damage to yellow. So great pickup there for GOSU Night Horde, who, just like you said, are on a roll. I'll bet a lot of viewers didn't expect this to start with a 5-0 lead against BTK.
I know a lot of the fans here right now are BTK fans, but watching this game so far at 8 minutes, a lot are like, oh, what's happening? Why is Night Horde winning? But it's only 8 minutes in the game, guys, and we'll see what happens. But both teams are on the mid side to get other stuff.
Yeah, you can already see the chunking from that crab claw cannon. LC1 comes in onto Fried Chicken, earns himself a pop-up for his efforts, but they have lost positioning on that mid-side L bush. Dez already doing a great job. He's going to start baiting out this Lord at bottom. I think BTK has a little bit of wind on there. Oh, concealed play there by Shark. He does get caught up, flickers in, does use the ejector. Down goes Legend. Real world manipulation is out. Shark goes down. Look at the lifespan here. Mikasa trying to get out of harm's way. Dez, look at the life and healing he gets from Moba Zane onto the back line. Zia finds 2 kills in the back line, and Moba Zane finds a kill of his own. That is 4 members down for Night Horde.
Shark had an amazing engage right there on that bush. Even though he sacrificed his life for it, his whole team was able to wipe out half of Night Horde and be able to get the first Lord of the game. Did you see Zia's amazing play on Alice? He went in under 2-2, killed 2, and barely survived with just 1 HP going back to the Lord side. Very nice.
Yeah, and amazing play, and just like that, BTK show the strengths of this composition in a single team fight, especially with using this Alice to kind of dive into that back lane. You're exactly right, especially under tower, being able to get both of those kills, chase down I want to say the heroes with the lowest health theirs, and right now it is 4-6 and evened up for BTK.
Yeah, Hoon's real world manipulation also played a big role in putting Night Horde in a square and just hitting them with his deadly little dots. As you can see right here, same thing's happening.
Yeah, great job there. We're dealing with the real world manipulation and the call up there. Ultimate coming out from Moba Zane there. A huge cleanup there. That is a whole team wipe. And when you talk about wombo combos, you had the real world manipulation down there. You had the deadly catch come out from Zane. There was nowhere for Night Horde to run as we take it into a replay.
Yeah, as we can see in the replay, real world manipulation comes down as well as Moba Zane with his sharks. This whole team fight just turned around as we saw that Night Horde was in the lead, but due to a few little hiccups and little mistakes in some team fights, we do see BTK coming back and getting basically all their towers besides the mid inhib. So this is really strong coming from BTK.
Yeah, a lot of finger wagging probably going on with the viewers right now, who were maybe a little scared at the beginning there when it was like a 5-0 with BTK having 0 kills there, but they absolutely dominated, turned this around, and got, I want to say, almost 8 unanswered towers in the last 3 minutes.
Yeah, so the lead did just switch up with BTK at 38k gold and Night Horde at 33k. The gold gap is pretty huge, but I think Night Horde should be a little bit more wary right now as they are a little bit behind.
We do see a big fight coming up here. Deadly Catch is out, does find a kill on to Mikasa into the back lanes. Ooh, Yellow able to just narrowly get away. That is 2 down for the Night Horde. They are unable to even get their purple buff as the offense coming out from BTK is proving too much. This is going to be the last high ground tower. We are at the 12-minute mark. BTK looking to finish it up. Ejector out to LC1, and we do see Dez getting taken down. This might be all she wrote for BTK, looking for their first victory of the night.
Ooh, congrats to BTK. First game. It was looking a little bit scary in the first 5 minutes, but at 12 minutes, they did end the game without a Lord. All they did was damage. And as we can see on the scoreboard, BTK 14-7 with MOBA Zayn on Bane getting the MVP with 7-0-3 on the KDA scoreboard.
Yeah, and I want to say a lot of those early kills were probably Shark kind of testing the grounds, testing the water, getting that vision, seeing what he needed to do for his team. Because, I mean, still Zayn able to get away with no deaths. Zia was able to get away with no deaths. So they kind of did what they had to do to make sure that Zayn was still getting farmed up and eventually absolutely turn this around for BTK from just a little bit of a shaky start.
Yeah, as you can see, we can look at the damage charts, all the stats. We do see Zia holding the highest damage right now with 51k on Alice. Really surprising, as he wasn't in a lot of the team fights, only around half of them, but still dishing out a truly amazing amount of damage, even with that much team fight participation.
Yeah, and that just goes to show with like a lot of the AoE ability that Alice has with a lot of her abilities. And a strong pickup into the gold lane, especially when you have somebody like MOBA Zayn on a Bane. So you don't have to worry about the auto attacks or the physical damage to the towers, because you have a Bane there who can basically just choose up towers for breakfast, as we can take a look here at some of the additional stats.
Yeah, looking at the additional stats, we do see the damage output on BTK coming up strong, with 182,000 damage total cumulative, as well as objectives, getting 10 objectives. So objectives consists of the towers, and I'm pretty sure the turtles and lords. So compared to Night Horde with 2, that's a pretty big difference. And as well as the gold per minute at 5,598 gold per minute.
And I want to say this is kind of shades of like an old BTK that we saw. As we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the replays. If this is the early game, we're going to start seeing a little bit of problems for BTK when it came to some of these objectives. Oh, this was actually the fight where they actually started turning it around. You can see here a lot of damage going out there into the back line. Watch Zia dive back line into the back turrets here to clean up 2 kills in the back.
And you can see Zia right there, barely escaping and coming out with 1 HP. But this was the second fight of the series, which gave BTK a boost in the lead. As you can see, the wombo combos coming down from Hoon and Zayn, coming together with Fried Chicken 2, as they're able to wipe out the entire team of Night Horde.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to see how this composition came together. You had the real world manipulation, which basically trapped a lot of the members of the enemy team there, and then you have a deadly catch coming from your rear, and you have no escape unless you're going to walk into the real world manipulation boundaries, which are just going to stun and root you into the ground there, and then boom, you're hit with the sharks anyway. The one thing I would have liked to see a little bit more is maybe a little bit of the reflecting of some of those. That's what a lot of us were wondering about, the deadly catch. Was it going to be reflected by the bulwark of Lolita? And I feel like we just didn't see that here.
Yeah, honestly, I thought GOSU Night Horde, they did really well in the early game, especially with their team comp. They're able to get a lot of objectives uncontested. But I think going to midway, we saw one of the team fights that really turned around the game, where BTK was able to capitalize on the fact that Shark suicided, but basically won his team the team fight.
Yeah, and he was doing great with those ejectors to kind of get, especially into the mid lane, or into the mid game, into the late game, diving in with that unstoppable force, and then using those ejectors to get some of the squishier members to BTK. They burst them down very quickly, and then they start on with a lot of these team fights. And that's where you saw a lot of this composition start coming together. Once they had the advantage, once they had that first team fight, boy, it was a steamroll for them.
So I think some fun facts right now. We do have BTK MOBA Zayn, our jungle role. His favorite player is Cardi. If you guys know BTK Cardi, shout out in the chat. Hometown is Northport, New York. His favorite hero is Fanny. Surprising, since he is a tank main, so Fanny being one of his favorite heroes is pretty ironic. One of his favorite hobbies is winning. Possibly winning maybe tournaments in NA, and his device he's currently using is the Red Magic 9.
It's kind of sweet there. The favorite player being Cardi. Shout out to one of the original members of BTK for that legendary M3 run. Here we can see GOSU Night Horde, a little information on Dez, role, jungle, favorite hero, Ling, favorite player, Shark, hobby, streamer, hometown, New York, another New Yorker, 3 New Yorkers here now that we know about, and device playing on a Red Magic 9S Pro.
I like how his favorite player is Shark, and Shark is on the enemy team side for BTK, so that's pretty funny, but yeah. Really wholesome.
Yeah,
favorite thing streaming.
Yeah, really wholesome there for both of them, and a little bit of loyalty coming out from Moba Zane for one of the original members of BTK. But here we're going to see, like we said, this isn't just a normal best of type of series. We are playing 4 guaranteed games here tonight. 4 opportunity to answer back at BTK. We're going to see if they can do the unthinkable and start mounting a comeback, mounting a plan or a strategy against BTK, or like the series before, if they're going to start crumbling under the pressure.
Honestly, I do have high hopes for. They have been in NACT for a while, even though a lot of the teams were switched up. I do hope that they bring in a game at least today for the series, even though they lost the first game. I do think that they had a really good early game, so as long as they keep up the early game for the next few rounds, they will surely be able to win a match. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing too, is it was a great early game. It's just those little mistakes that you kind of need to be wary of, especially against a team like BTK, because if there is somebody lagging, if there is a weak link on the team, they are going to be able to find it, exploit it, and once they get that momentum, they're just going to keep steamrolling down the lane. And that's something you need to be wary for, no matter how big of a lead that you have on an enemy team.
Yeah, so we're gonna get jumped right into the draft for second game of BTK versus Night Horde. We do see having the same bands as we see a Ling and a Chip, as well as Night Horde side. We do see Bane, Alpha, and Alice band. What do you think about this, Kai?
Oh man, this is interesting. I'll say that I understand why. I'm wary of banning everything that your opponent just used against you, because now you're playing their game. Now you're leaving stuff open because you're going to be banning out their position instead of maybe thinking about a way to counter that composition. Here, we do have that first pick going over to GOSU Night Horde, and they're going to go ahead and stick with Hylos.
Yeah, Hylos is he did get a nerf, I think, but he's pretty versatile as he can get played on the EXP and on the roam. So I'm really excited to see how well they use the horse against none other than Fried Horse. But as you said about the bans, it's really surprising that they did ban Bane and Alice as they did play last game, but also seeing an Alpha ban, as I'm pretty sure they know Zane is one of the, I guess, best Alpha players of NA or the world in general.
Yeah. And that's another thing to me too, is you kind of run along the border of, you're trying to ban Zane out and you're kind of focusing on some of the wrong things right there. The Matilda, one of Shark's go-to roam positions, and then you're going to scoop up Edith. As I was saying about Zane, it's like you ban out, he's got a deep hero pool. I don't care who you're talking about in North America. I know a lot of people try to say, oh, he doesn't know a lot of heroes. He does, and it's been proven over and over again, even in the last NACT's grand finals, where they used all of the bans for Zane, and he still came out with the Balmon that he was able to be successful with. When you are better off trying to have a plan against what he can play, use the ban button to take. But here, it's all going to be on to Night Horde as they scoop up Vexana and Moskov for their next picks.
Yeah, I think we've seen a lot of Vexadas and Moskov so far in NACT. Moskov, a very great gold laner, as he's able to stick to his lane, farm, and just, have a great utility with the Spear of Destruction in being able to split push from one lane and just go to another. And also Vexana, great CC coming from this really prominent mid laner, as we know that her first skill and ultimate are things And I know, I like what you said about the bans, but oh, we do see a Roger coming in. I think this is the first Roger of the series, or season actually.
Yeah, I was actually getting worried that Roger, that the bans that he got to his kit were too much for Roger. I know his ult cooldown is a little bit bigger now, and the defense he gets in that wolf form, both physical and magic defense, is lowered a bit, so he's not going to be as tanky. And I want to say the last series, single ban or pick for Roger, who has been such a prominent character in the meta so far. In a return to form, if anybody can play Roger, it's going to be Mobazane.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see this first Roger game ever, and especially coming from Mobazane on the jungle, but possibly could be getting swapped with Zia, and it could be going to the gold lane, but we will definitely see what's to come. But on the side of BTK, we do see 2 assassin bans, so Nolan and Hayabusa possibly, banning out Dez on the assassin. Assassin, as Dez is an assassin player, so 3 assassin bans from the side of BTK. Really interesting.
Yeah, so you've taken out that early game and spamming ability from the Nolan pick up there. Hayabusa, also, he does have a little bit of a shaky opening, but man, a large amount of skill. When you can come in with that shadow kill, you negate a whole ton of damage and are able to dive into the back lines. So smart pickoffs there by BTK. Speaking of which, a big focus onto that mid lane as Lilia taken off the board as well for the side of GOSU Nighthorde. So really kind of focusing in on Hoon with this second drafting phase.
Yeah, I like how on the side of BTK, they focus it more towards Dez on the jungle side, but on the side of Nighthorde, it splits between Zane as well as the mid laner. So I'm not really sure what Hoon's going to play, but there are a lot of versatile mages that right now that are open, including we do see a Valentina pick for the mid, or if Hoon wants to bring out the Zhu Xin on the mid, even though she did get a nerf, it'll be really interesting to see one this game.
Yeah, and that's interesting as well. That's another another duo of mages that kind of got hit by the banhammer, and everybody's kind of been steering clear, like they have some type of disease right now. They're like, I don't think I want to mess with them anymore just yet. They got hit pretty hard. Maybe not what a lot of these teams are going to be looking for in here. So it's going to be very interesting to see where these next pickups go. Still 36 seconds. Actually, 36 seconds. We're kind of stuck on that right now. Waiting to see what these teams are going to be picking up here, as there are no more bans left for them. Moving on into game 2 of this series, GOSU Nighthorde taking on BTK.
Yeah, each side of BTK and Nighthorde rolls. So on the side of BTK are missing a mid laner as well, a possible drops out. Okay, so we do see the side of BTK, they picked out a Ruby and Loi for the last 2 picks, as well as on the side of Nighthorde, they picked off Xborg and Minnow.
I kind of like, I mean, I've talked about it before. Luyi is one of my favorite mid laners. I absolutely adore her kit, the skins that come off her, everything about her. But I want to say this meta, she's kind of fallen out just because you have a lot of people that can close the distance on her, that can sidestep a lot of her abilities when you're trying to connect that CC. And it's not a very tank heavy meta anymore. But you add that to the amount of peeling ability that you're going to have with a Ruby, and then the mobility that you're going to have with the Matilda to pull you out of harm's way. It's going to be very amazing to see. But ladies and gentlemen, amazing does not even begin to describe that we are moving into game 2 of BTK taking on GOSU Nighthorde.
Yeah, exciting second game. We do see on the side of BTK, they are starting their red buff with their team, as well as on the side of Nighthorde. Pretty even in the jungle right now.
Yeah, starting up on to the orange buff, Dez on the Xborg. They both actually finish off very quickly, so they're going to probably be reaching those side lane ganks around the same time.
Yeah, I like how the mid lane right now, they are walking together on both sides. Hoon is dishing out a lot of damage on Loi in the early game against the Minotaur.
Yeah, and this is going to be really interesting to see how they can kind of protect. It's very interesting. You're going to have the X-Borg, you're going to have that last Insanity, but you also have to contend with Shark, who is an absolute pro when it comes to Matilda. And he's going to be able to use those guiding winds to get a lot of his teams out of harm's way. And that's going to be a big problem for X-Borg when it comes to kiting.
Yeah, we do see on the side of BTK, Shark is giving vision to Dez as well as invading, poking around the jungle side. She's doing a great job. We do see that the mid laners are still together, but we should be having some action coming soon.
Yeah, you can see here they're doing a great job. Shark just following this trio coming from mid. When it comes to the jungle, the roam, and the mid, he's doing such a great job of keeping an eye on every single one of them, making sure that his players know when they're coming so that they know to back off from the lanes.
Yeah, as you can see, we do have Shark still invading the side of Dez, but Turtle is up and BTK are all on the Turtle, possibly Nighthorde giving them a free first Turtle for the first game or second game.
Yeah, and that's really interesting here too. It's just we kind of discussed this too. If you're gonna give up the turtle, we've actually seen that a lot here when it comes to a few of these games where some teams just kind of prefer to give up that first turtle, give up the shield that comes with it, and the gold, just in favor of trying to keep their farm up. And it's interesting because you used to see like turtle, if you gave up turtle, it would be exchanged for something. You'd see a gank at the bottom lane or at the top, but here I think that opportunity kind of got closed because of how closely Shark is following them to make sure to keep that protection onto the gold lane and onto Zia.
Right, I have the same idea as you, as since Nighthorde gave up the turtle to BTK, I felt like the mid laners should have, instead of going to top lane, they should have just cleared the mid and go straight to bot side, but we didn't see that happening, so they just gave a free turtle and got nothing out of it. So they are behind by 1k gold right now, so that is a bit of an issue for Nighthorde right now.
And what a tough position for Yellow here. He sees the members. He's not able to exactly go in there and help. There were 3 members of BTK warding him away. He did the only thing he could and backed off. Unfortunately for Alcy1, he came a little too late to bottom. That's going to be a first tower for BTK at the bottom lane.
Do you see Mikasa rushing in on Zane? First blood.
A big, glorious pathway. They saw an opportunity on Zane, found the CC, popped him up, and then just absolutely deleted him. That's going to be a first blood going over to GOSU Nighthorde.
No, even though they did get a first blood on Zane, I'm not sure if that's, I don't know about that being created with first tower on bot side. Do you see Yellow BC dying to June?
Yeah. A big circling eagle there from a Shark just when Alcy1 and the Legend had themselves a leg up, a 2v1 onto Zia. Hoon and Shark come in for the save and find a kill of their own. Now score being 1-1 apiece.
Yeah, Turtle is up, but I don't think that Yellow BC is having a good time on the gold lane. He did lose his first tower on bot side pretty early and just died since he was a little bit out of position and his team did back out from him. But hopefully he will farm on bot side and start putting in some weight.
We see Mikasa might be in a little bit of trouble. Glorious pathway onto 3 members. We do have a last Insanity locking onto Zia. It's not going to be enough. Only burst him down to about half health. The Fly Chicken with the Primal Wrath looking for a kill of his own. Alcy1 next on the chopping block. That is 2 down for GOSU Nighthorde. BTK trying to chase down Mikasa, running for the hills, gets himself a little bit of a speedy update there, and Moba Zane disengages from that fight. Speaking of which, Yellow actually a little too far forward in his lane, gets picked off by the trio of BTK.
Yeah, honestly, Yellow was a bit out of position. I thought he would back a little bit sooner, but he did get caught by the team as they did all run down, knowing very well that Yellow would be in the bush. But let's look back at an instant replay. We do have a lot of team fights where both teams are coming towards each other, but in the end, the BTK it comes out on top. I think that Hoon plays a really big part in these team fights, as when he uses his yin and yang, it just connects everyone on the enemy team and just puts them together and puts so much damage out.
Yeah, and that's a great little poke out there, because Hoon is doing a great job with the positioning that he has, keeping himself out on the outside of his tanks to make sure that he can still get the damage out onto the enemy, but still has the protection. We did see from that last little replay, Yellow had that Spear of Destruction out. He missed wide from all the players, but I wonder, had he connected with that, would he have been able to come in and clean up?
Yeah, I saw that missed spear coming from Yellow earlier. Even if he went into a team fight, I'm not sure if he could have done anything, as he does need more items right now. He is a little bit behind, 0-2, but we do see a Louis teleport right on the back line.
We do have a diversion out there, and unfortunate for Dez, he gets caught in the bushes. We do have an Ancient Guardian is out there trying to lay the damage onto BTK, but they are too strong right now looking at the damage, and that is one down for Dez. Unfortunately, that diversion so quick to pop the entire team into that bush, and they just made short work of the Night Horde jungler.
Yeah, that must have been such a big surprise to Dez, as he did just get a jump scare from 5 players coming out of a bush for BTK. I think Hoon's doing a really great job on that Louis on the mid side, as he is doing his job. He is teleporting his team to where they need to be, as well as doing enough poke and CC from the backline without getting caught. I think this is a really good game for Louis, as there is no assassins on the enemy side. There is an export, so she's able to do whatever as she pleases.
Yeah, you can see right here the recall spam coming out from BTK, feeling very confident in this game. I want to say last game went a little differently in the early minutes. Right here, Night Horde having some trouble getting their wits about them, even with all team members kind of stuck together. BTK doing a great job of finding those ones and those twos kind of out straggling and being able to take them down before these team engages.
Yeah, I think this game is a little bit much better for BTK than last. They were behind last game against Night Horde, but I think this game, they are pretty ahead, with the scoreboard only being 1-5, with their gold lead at a 6k gold lead over Night Horde. They are getting to a 3 tower right now.
Yeah, Glorious Pathway is out. The team earns a pop-up for their efforts. More pop-ups out there as well. Minnow and Furies, or that wasn't a Minnow and Fury, that was Ancient Eternal Guardian is out on the floor. 5 Chicken and Shark find a kill of their own. 2 for 5 Chicken. 3 coming down. There's only 1 left. It's just Legend, who's gonna have to recall back to base, and this might be a good starting push for BTK. Only tier 2s and down left for Night Horde.
Yeah, honestly, that team fight looked really good for Night Horde, as the Minotaur did have a good engage, but on the side of BTK, Mobazane was able to get out with a little bit of HP, and they were able to clean up the whole team fight and kill off Night Horde.
Yeah, the issue for me right now with Night Horde is I think they need to take a breath, because they're about 9k behind. Oh, and Hylos just learns it the hard way, is that there isn't really a great fight opportunity for them unless they can find and isolate a person on the enemy team onto BTK, and they're doing such a great job of kind of sticking together or being in range of Shark. So if they do get caught, Shark can get those guiding winds, pull them back out of harm's way.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think that Night Horde should really step back. They should just defend. They should just walk together as a team and not be so out, as they would just get picked off like how Mikasa just got picked off a few seconds ago. But we do have a Lord coming in, and I'm pretty sure Night Horde cannot contest this unless they're wanting to get a whole team wipe. But they are getting pushed back by Shark and Hoon.
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure they can't, as they're being pretty much held at bay by Shark on this Matilda. You'd never think a Matilda would be so menacing, but a lone Shark is there just holding the line. We do have minions crashing up at the top. Night Horde notices it, earns a yin-yang for their troubles. They're going to go in onto Zia, baited into another fight here. Not sure if this is one that they want. You see the damage coming out, and it is not enough. The team is going to have to back up, back into their base.
I felt like it was very unnecessary for them to use their ults, as the Minotaur and Vexana did place their ults down, but there is a Lord crashing on bot side, so BTK does know that half of the utility from Night Horde are out, and they're able to possibly push in and have a game ender at just 10 minutes, or 11 minutes actually.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing. We have 3 ultimates down for the side of Night Horde, and all ultimates ready for BTK to kind of storm the gate here, so to speak. Lord coming down at the bottom lane, mid lane starting to crash in now. They make short work of the high ground at mid tower. Now turning their attention to the team. I'm Offended lands on the Alcy one, and that is taken out by Fly Chicken. Zia finds a kill, takes down the tower. Lord starting in at the core. Look how quickly they are being able to burst that down. Mobazane finds a kill onto Mikasa. They're looking for kills before they even go for this core, and that is going to be game 2 for BTK.
Ooh, congrats to BTK. They did end the game at 10 minutes. I think it was very close to last games where they ended around, I think, 12 minutes. I think good job to BTK. As this game, they were more smooth. I think they were cleaner than last. They were able to dominate from the beginning of the game to the end with a scoreboard of 2-13 in favor of BTK, and Hoon getting the MVP with the KDA of 1-0-12.
Yeah, I did a great job with the Lu Yi. Maybe not getting the kills, but the suppressive fire that he's able to dish out with that Lu Yi. And then what makes a great Lu Yi player is the ability to use those diversions to get your team into places around the map that are a huge surprise and end up getting you a little bit closer to some of those objectives and even some kills onto Night Horde, as Dez was able to find out firsthand.
Yeah, honestly, that was a pretty clean game for the side of BTK. I really liked Hoon on the Luri. As you said, your favorite hero. He did dish out 42% in damage with the highest damage at 82k compared to the rest of the champions or heroes actually in this game. With 100% team fight participation, Hoon was really looking up to it. He was really on it this game.
Yeah, and that just kind of says something about the organization of that team to get 42% damage and not that many kills for your team, which meant he knew when to step back. He knew what he was there for. Just suppressive fire, maybe get a lot of those kills kind of stacked onto Mobazane or onto another member. He knows exactly what his objective as that mage is to be doing out there.
Yeah, we do see a lot of the charts right now. We have damage charts with BTK holding 198,000 damage, as well as objectives going on their favor with 10 objectives, and Night Horde only having 0. And the gold per minute this game is much more favorable toward the sides of BTK, as they did have a gold per minute at 6,100.
Yeah, amazing, well put together game by BTK here. They're starting to kind of sharpen those swords, get a little better each and every game. But here comes that halfway point. This is where Night Horde needs to step up if they want to take this to potentially a game 5 or potentially even a tie game. Like I was talking about before, some of those bans, you can't really depend on banning out BTK or banning out Zane. You need to have a plan for some of those picks, and that's going to kind of come into the draft. You see here, they were able to kind of get a nice unlucky kill onto Mobazane, got themselves a first blood, but they did find themselves lacking inside some of those side lane fights.
Yeah, as we can see on this one turtle fight, we do see the side of BTK overriding the side of Night Horde and being able to wipe them. I think a big part of that was most of the team was there. And as you can see here, it was a diversion coming from Hoon as he went into the back line and was able to surprise Dez with a 5-man team from BTK.
Yeah, it's just really interesting here, especially with how low. Look at Mobazane and Fly Chicken in this fight. Look how low they are, and they know when to peel back, and the rest of the team kind of comes forward to close the lines and close ranks around them to make sure that they are protected. And that's the value you kind of get out of BTK, and where Night Horde really needs to kind of clean up some of these engagements.
Yeah, we can see they did have a pretty good game today, as they did push out the inhibs and actually just end the game at around 11 minutes, where, as we can see, they are Zia going into their face, and they just end the game right there and then.
Yes, it's going to be really interesting to see how well Nighthorde can come back. This is what we've talked about before. Every single team here going to be playing 4 games apiece, no matter who wins or who loses. But in the biggest point here for Nighthorde is, can they pick themselves back up to try to find themselves a working strategy against BTK? I want to say the draft is not bad. The draft is decent enough to handle what they're seeing. The problem kind of comes into some of those rotations, maybe pushing in that gold lane when you know the enemy team just took the turtle, laying a little too far ahead of your lane, and then getting picked off by that same team who just took a turtle. You have to know that there's something going on. You're going to have the speed from that turtle coming. You have the speed of Matilda's guiding winds to drag the team forward. So it's just those little things that you have to kind of clean up if you want to be successful against a team like BTK.
Yeah, I think Nighthorde, they do need a little bit more communication, as on the gold lane that game, he wasn't really having fun in the early game, and the mid laners were nowhere to be seen on the bot side. So that was really questionable on the play for Nighthorde in the early game. But we do know that Shark did an amazing job that game, as he did give a lot of vision to his team, as well as steer away the minnow from a lot of the lanes.
So yeah, and then this kind of brings up the questions of what you think, where you think that Nighthorde might be. You have like the inner workings for them. You know how they operate. Where do they shine, and where do you think they need to kind of lean on their strengths here to possibly be successful against BTK?
You know, you make me seem like I'm a super spy, but honestly, I don't really know much, you know. But I do know that a lot of their players do shine. Like, we know Dez on the jungle. He's a really amazing assassin jungle. So I do wish they put him on an assassin he's more comfortable with, and seeing how well he does on that. And I think a lot of the laners, like the mid laners, like they have a lot of pressure. They have like a lot of like vision. How do I say this? They have like a lot of impact in the game, as the roamer is the one that's setting. So I would really like to see the roamer setting more for the side of Nighthorde for their team. Yeah,
just to add on to what you're saying, and we touched on it a little bit during the game, that rotation of the jungle, mid, and roam is really integral to the meta currently right now, to kind of get into that side lane, cut off the escapes of the opponents. But here, a little bit of an inside look on everybody's favorite North American pro player / streamer for Hoon. Role mid, favorite hero, Gushin. Favorite player, of course, General. Hobby, watching documentaries. Hometown, Seoul, Korea. Device, Red Magic 9S Pro.
Wow, that's really interesting. Hoon's favorite hobby is watching documentaries. Actually, I like watching documentaries too, so maybe I should be asking what he watches. But on the side of GOSU Nighthorde, we do have Legend here on the board. Role as a mid laner. His favorite hero is Lunox. His favorite player is Magayon. His favorite hobby is baking. Hometown Toronto, and he plays on an iPad, so it's really interesting. I think a lot of players play on a phone, but iPad is something that we don't see as much. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, last person I knew that played on an iPad, at least a full-size iPad, I think was General. You see him kind of on his streams, like tapping away at it, which is really interesting to see when it comes to like things like that. I myself play on an iPad mini, so it's a little smaller, a little bigger than a phone, but definitely smaller than an iPad. But really interesting to see what all of the different North American players play on when they're competing here in North America.
Yeah, I was just about to say, when I thought of iPad, I thought about GOSU General, as its name is GOSU Nighthorde, but maybe I should start playing on an iPad now, since I'm using my phone too much. But yeah, a lot of interesting facts coming from these players.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be moving very shortly into game 3 of at least 4 games here for BTK taking on GOSU Nighthorde. Right now, I want to say the name, not helping them too much. I want to say and it's honestly, it's really interesting that they have the GOSU name on an history, especially at the beginning of the pro scene here in North America, between BTK and GOSU, where they were once pretty heavy rivals. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get right into this next banning session. Yeah, as you can see, the banning session's pretty textbook right now. Nighthorde having a chip ban
on their side, as well as BTK having a Ling ban. So I think I've seen Night Horde ban chip every single game, and BTK has been banning Ling for Dez, as we do know Dez is a really good jungle player. But interesting ban coming from BTK side, Freya. You know, did you know Mikasa used to be top 1 in global Freya?
Ooh, so I guess we'll find out. And that's pretty interesting that they choose now to ban that out rather than any other time. Maybe they understand that this being that halfway mark, this is when Night Horde might be wanting to pull out all the stops, get on to their comfortable heroes, and they're just going to go ahead and chalk that off, take that right off the plate there. But maybe that takes the place of another assassin pick that Night Horde could possibly pick up.
Yeah, because of that Freya ban, we might see more assassins open up to Dez on the jungle, so allowing him to shine a little bit more on what he's more comfortable with. But we do see Night Horde also banning out the Phoveus. Really good, really textbook ban, as we know that Phoveus has been banned out a lot in the series, as well as being picked out. So it's best to always ban something that they don't want to be facing against. But on the side of BTK, we do have a Matilda ban, possibly for Night Horde not to pick it up, but as we can see, Matilda in this series so far, or the day, has been a really good pick. So yeah, really interesting.
Yeah, interesting now with kind of going the opposite that they did during the last draft. They completely ignore what they saw from the last game. However, this does mean that Alpha is open. Just because, and this is the thing too, is like, I want to say BTK, just because they don't pick it doesn't mean they're not good on it. Matilda gets a ban out there, which means that they possibly have another idea for where they're going to be going for this composition. I mean, for any other team, you would probably want to keep on picking what you're best at, but this kind of shows that they have a wide hero pool, they have a wide array of compositions that they can choose from, and it's going to be on GOSU Night Horde to maybe read that out, see if they can find out where they're going with it, and be able to counter it and let that hold up in the match too, as well as we see this first line Edith pickup from BTK.
Yeah, I'm really liking the Edith first picks on BTK side. I think this is their second game they had first picked Edith. She's very versatile, as we said earlier. She's allowed to go on the roam position as well as the EXP position. So something that we should be looking out for later. We do have on the side of Night Horde, we have Mikasa on the game plan picking up Arla. Really interesting, as well as Dez picking up the Roger for Night Horde. Another jungle. Roger?
Yeah, it's a very interesting and a smart pickup here. You're going to take that off the table for Zayn, but also pick it up yourselves. I mean, Zayn just showed it's not exactly out of the meta right now, and it's still very strong. And then we don't even know for sure. Maybe this is going to be going into the gold lane. We haven't seen that Roger is still kind of like forced into that jungle position just yet. So, answer now to be had by BTK.
Honestly, I'm really liking the draft right now. It's really interesting. But we do see on the side of BTK, Mobazane does pull out his infamous alpha, as we do know. Really great alpha, as well as Zia pulling out the Herod on the gold lane.
Yeah, if there's one hero when it comes to Zayn, it's going to be that alpha. He is he's very strong on it. It's despite what a lot of people talked about during his international plays with alpha. I mean, at the very least, because a lot of people were complaining that does he only pick alpha? Well, now he has one of his favorite heroes in a matchup here against the Night Horde. Not just that, but a very, very strong and contested gold laner in the Harith pickup.
Yeah, really interesting. On the side of Night Horde, say they did ban out a Grok. On the side of BTK, they did ban out a Hayabusa. Hayabusa, another assassin ban aiming towards, I guess, Dez. Possibly not sure if the Roger is going on the gold lane or the jungle. So just to be sure, they would ban out one of Dez's hero pool. On the side of Night Horde, they do ban out a Grok. Also, they're not sure if the Edith is supposed to be a roamer or XP. So just to ban out roamers that they're worried about, they do ban out Grok as well as Eve.
Yeah, and it's really interesting here too. They're going to go ahead and focus, and I've seen these two, the Ling and the Hayabusa have kind of been focused down by BTK. They want to make sure they absolutely do not give these types of heroes to Dez, who's kind of made a name for himself streaming with a lot of these assassin pickups here. Kufra is out there as well, hopefully to try to kind of counteract this Harith pickup that's going to be out there. And we do see the bans coming out from Night Horde as well.
Yeah, so we do see another Eve ban targeting Hoon. Really sad for Hoon that he wasn't able to play Eve for 2 games, as he did pick it up for one of the games today. And outside of BTK, they do ban out the Ruby, possibly a pick that they really don't want to see Boba Zane going against, as that Ruby on the Roam, on EXP, on Gold Lane, she's very versatile and she's used in a lot of lanes, and she's something that a lot of players do pick up. But I'm really also interested that it was banned out really later in the game and wasn't even picked out in this game. So that's really interesting, you know?
Yeah, and just like that, GOSU Night Horde gonna scoop up the Lu Yi. The only thing is, well, right now, I mean, you still have 2 picks left out there for BTK, so they're going to need possibly some type of backline dive to be able to kind of get to the Lu Yi, because, I mean, you've got an amazing amount of peel and tankiness that can be in front of her with the Arlot pick, with the Kufra there, and then fried chicken going to go ahead and pick up the glue.
Wow, this is the first sight of glue in, I think, a lot of seasons in NACT. I think last time I saw glue being played was by, T? I think T from one of the other teams. But we also do see a Novaria pick. Novaria, really interesting. Honestly, as a mage player, I do like Novaria, as she's able to go from the back line and just shoot you from afar, hitting like half of your HP off. So that's something that would be really interesting for this meta. But we do see Dez. He did put a pickup, one of his more better assassins that he uses, Nolan, and BTK did leave that Nolan up for Dez. So that's going to be really interesting seeing Dez play something that he's so familiar with.
Yeah, it's going to be and the early game is going to be very clutch here for the side of GOSU Night Horde to see whether Nolan's going to be able to get those kills, get those pickoffs, and kind of steamroll his way into some momentum Horde, or if he gets shut down, that's kind of like the 2 sharp sides for Nolan here. It's either you do great in the early game and you have a good game, or you do bad in the early game and you end up kind of suffering throughout the entirety of it.
Yeah, I do like that Nolan pick against the Novaria. Actually, really good counter for such a backline here, as he's able to just dash in. She has no mobility, and he's able to just come right out, getting a kill on that mid lane hero. But let's get into the game, Prive.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on to game 3. As of yet, Night Horde has been unable to answer BTK and their onslaught of victories they've taken here. Right now, looking to tie things up potentially with BTK.
We do see Zayn clearing a little bit faster than Dez, taking his blue, going to his orange buff, but Dez just barely taking his red buff, going in on his jungle rotations. He might be a little bit behind Moba Zayn on Alpha, but as we know, Alpha is a really good jungler on clearing his jungle.
Yeah, and he really shines out in the early game as well, especially for some of those first objectives. And I want to say the composition here really favors BTK for a lot of these first objectives too. Whereas Nolan is super squishy, he's not going to really be able to hang out around the Lord. But ooh, look at Hoon taking a lot of damage here from a legend, and that's going to be catches him with an astral orb on his way out.
Yeah, I see that Louis has been putting out good damage toward the side, towards his mid laners of BTK, just putting back Shark to recall as well as Hoon. But I think that both teams are doing really well. As we can see, Shark is giving a little bit of vision towards the side of BTK.
Oh, caught in a bad way between 3 members of BTK. Alcyone gets taken down, getting taken down a notch, and the rest of Night Horde are going to have to disperse.
I feel like Alcyone, yeah, similar to a lot of the other games before that we've watched, like Godspeed versus Last Minute, the roamer is a little bit far too out, as they kind of bush check or face check by themselves without a team, and they just get caught off by the enemy side and just die right before a turtle right here, as you can see.
Yeah, and that's been a big, solid story for the entirety of the night, is Rome's kind of being caught out or not being in a position where their team can help them. First turtle very firmly secured here by BTK. Shark doing a good job trying to zone out the rest of the team. And in comes Dez. Is able to find a kill onto Shark. Mobazane picks up the turtle. Now looking at the rest of the fight. Fly Chicken gets in there, finds a stun, and they are able to find a kill onto Legend. Might be next on the chopping block, is able to use that Tyrant's Revenge to get himself out of harm's way.
I think that was a really great team fight. For Nighthorde's side, they did lose the turtle and lose their mid laner, but at least they did not lose a lot more players, as they're still in the game, not that far behind from BTK, only 1k gold difference. But I do like that on the side of BTK, they are able to capitalize on that turtle, but Yellow BC getting it from Zia on the Harris.
Yeah, Hera, the Zia doing a great job diving under the tower with that Zaman Force, just places it down, then starts kiting all over the map and basically just laying down the damage onto Yellow. Fly Chicken, ooh, actually in a little bit of trouble here. Mikasa, full health. Ooh, he was full health. That Astral Orb went ahead, almost halved him. Fly Chicken a little bit of trouble, is going to use that split, but it's not going to be enough. Dez finds the kill. He's not doing awful right now on his assassins, has 2 kills of his own.
Yeah, as you can see on the side of Nighthorde, they're not doing that bad right now. As you can see, Yellow BC is actually, no, the mid laners are coming in on Zia, but Zia did notice and did start backing out. So good on him.
Oh, Mikasa gets taken down up at the top. That's going to go ahead and raise the kills for BTK to 4 to the 2 of Nighthorde. Now looking to put some pressure onto this top lane. You see Dez lying in wait. Maybe he's going to look to go ahead and clear out some of these minions. He gets caught though, bursted down. Oh, able to use those dashes to get himself out of harm's way, but he did what he needed, cleared out those minions.
Yeah, Dez right now, he's on a roll. He's 3-0. As I said, Dez is a really great assassin jungler, and getting the Nolan, one of his most prioritized gold assassins, is something that BTK should be looking out for. But we do see on the side of Nighthorde, they are gonna get the second turtle, since Shark is out of the map, possibly.
Ooh, they go ahead, they catch a little bit onto Hoon, who's going to be able to use that Astral's echo, or his ability to get away. Fly Chicken latches onto Yellow. This might be a bad fight for the side of Nighthorde. They're starting to back off. Zia has to get off as he is getting very low. Fly Chicken lands on top of the Legend, and Mobazane able to clean up house. Mikasa fighting for his life against Mobazane, trying to find the security of his tower. He goes in on Mobazane and gets killed. Unfortunate for the Nighthorde. Alcyon next on the chopping block. That's going to be 2 more down for BTK.
Yeah, I think that Nighthorde should have just backed right after the first death of their team. I'm not really sure why they all tried to stick around and keep at it next to BTK. That kind of just got half the team killed in that team fight, and it gives BTK a really big advantage over Nighthorde right now. As you can see, they are around 4k gold in the lead on the side of BTK.
Yeah, it's so interesting too. I feel like the frustration is starting to show on to Nighthorde. Mikasa even had a clean escape under his tower. Maybe it was instinct and maybe it was muscle memory, but then decided to dash into Mobazane, and Mobazane ended up going ahead, cleaving and cleaning up shop there. 2v2 here. Zaman Force has been laid down. Zia dashing back and forth. Big pop-up lands onto 2 members of Nighthorde. Dez is going to be the first one on the chopping block. Gets taken out by Zia, and the next one, Mikasa. Zia doing a great job. 3-0-2. Mobazane closes the distance onto Legend in a bad way. He's not going to be able to connect those yin yanks. Flied Chicken backing up his team members from behind the tower.
Yeah, that was just really sad watching Legend die. He just got sandwiched by the entire team of BTK. As you can see, BTK is playing really well, as they're playing together as a team and able to capitalize on this by going after Nighthorde together and just being able to win these team fights. But we do see Mobazane getting Dez's blue, which is a really important buff for Nolan, as without a blue buff, he's not able to do as many dashes as he could want to do. So it's something that kind of nerfed Dez on the Nolan right now.
Yeah, and that's a great point to bring up. Just like the Fanny, well, Dez can spam out his abilities with a very, very low cooldown. But if you don't have enough mana to manage up those abilities, ooh, speaking of which, we are going to go ahead. Fried Chicken diving into the back lane has that split. Split is trying to put the damage onto Mikasa. That's going to be all she wrote. Alcyone next. On the docket there, gets taken out by Mobazane, sitting at 9-1-2. And just like that, Hoon finds a little bit of a snipe there with the Astral Orb to take out Legend.
Not BTK all just spam recalling and putting up emotes, but we do see that they are in the pretty ahead with 15-4 on the scoreboard. I do wish they actually have gotten more towers. They only have 3 towers so far at around 8 minutes, which I think compared to like last game, they basically got all their towers at around like what, 8 minutes, 9? So.
Ooh, Astral Echo is out trying to put the damage on a Mobazane, who's very low here, finds himself some rehab. They're able to find a little bit more health coming back. The rest of Night Horde have to disperse from this push from BTK. Legend is very low. He needs to go back. I mean, you're not going to be able to serve it. Oh, and just like that, he gets sniped by Hoon.
Yeah, Hoon, honestly, the sniper god just straight up sniped Legend from the other side of the map and just sniped Dez for half of his HP. This intense gameplay coming from BTK. They did not come here to play. They want to show everyone who the true kings of NAR.
I was calling it out like, Legend, you're too low. You can't match this with BTK. You never know. And just like that, Hoon finds himself the right Astral Orb right on the button of a Legend. And now Fried Chicken trying to kind of hold off the front line here of the Night Horde.
Yeah, honestly, Night Horde is in a really sticky situation as they are like in a 13k gold deficit with no towers, no turtles, no lords.
Yeah, you see now Mobazane going to go ahead and dive into there. They do find themselves 3 kills. It is just 2 members left to try and defend this onslaught right now. They don't have minions just yet, so they have a little bit of reprieve at the mid lane. However, top lane is a different story. You see Mobazane getting in good position there. Legend has to back off. I mean, he's going to be mincemeat if Mobazane turns his sights to the mage, and now they're going to turn their attention to the mid lane. Another one, they might not even be going, well, yeah, I was about to say, they might not go for the Lord, but it looks like they're going to go ahead, think twice about it.
Yeah, we do see BTK are disengaging, possibly going for the Lord and possibly having a finisher on the base where Night Horde does only have 2 inhib towers standing so far and not a way of being able to contest that Lord with their gold right now at 24k compared to BTK at 37k gold.
Yeah, and a very firm 21-5 right now for BTK. You are basically hoping for a meteor to strike the other end of the battlefield to kind of take out these players right now, because they have shown already that they are very precise in how they go about a lot of these pushes, and they very rarely make mistakes. In fact, what they do is they kind of punish you for the mistakes that you make, and Night Horde is learning this firsthand.
Yeah, honestly, BTK is doing an amazing job this game. Compared to the last 2 games, they are closing out the game at almost gonna be maybe 11 minutes in, and with a really high scoreboard of 21-5 this game.
Yeah, Lord pushing in at top. They're trying to sync up some of these lanes. You can see the pressure coming in through mid. Night Horde trying to do the best they can to try to clean up. Oh, I like the little distraction there to try to get these minions. Final Slash is out, puts Mobazane on the wrong side of the map. Shark comes in with some CC. Mobazane with the Alpha Strike finds himself a kill. Shark finds one. That is 3-4 down for the side of Night Horde. This could be all she wrote. Another clean and kept victory for BTK.
Yeah, I think this game was just, I feel like a lot of the third games for most teams are one of their best games, as they have a, like, on the side of earlier at Godspeed, they had a clean third game, and on the side of BTK, same thing is happening where there's little to no mistakes, and on the scoreboard we do see a 25-5 on the board with the Mobazane getting that MVP with the score of 12-1-9.
Yeah, I mean, a great game there for MOBA Zane, but man, let me tell you, those astral orbs coming out from Hoon just kind of made my day, especially well, maybe not Legend. The poor Legend here, I mean, he was getting sniped left and right from Hoon, and it didn't matter if he was low, there was an astral orb coming for his head, and a great job overall by BTK there.
Yeah, I think I have to ask Hoons for some Novaria lessons, as he did not miss on that Novaria. I want to just be just like you, but we do see Zane being the MVP of the game and having the most damage of this game with 51k as well as 8,000 tower push, and being in basically all the team fights, or most, or the highest team fights, as well as tanking around 22% damage. So great alpha. I think best alpha in NA. What do you think?
It's definitely has not been contested by anyone. I'm not even sure who would actually even come up there as a number 2 alpha, as I know some of the top players right now in NA like to kind of sit on a lot of those assassins. But I mean, as we take a look at some of the other stats here, I mean, the damage just being output almost doubled on the side of BTK, as they're looking at 180,000 compared to almost 100,000 by the side of Night Horde.
Yeah, again with the objectives, we do see BTK with 8 objectives this game, but Night Horde not getting any. So objectives, they did not get a single tower, lord, or turtle in that entire game, which is really surprising. But also on the side of BTK, we do see the gold per minute gap getting wider, as they did have around 7,000 gold per minute, where Night Horde only had around 4,600 gold per minute.
Now, I know I've said banning out Zane is a mistake, but I mean, if there's one that you have permission to ban every time, it would probably be the alpha. The man is just shown how well and how great he can operate on that hero, as we can take a look here at some of the replays.
Yeah, as you know, MOBA Zane on the alpha, he did get the first blood on the Kufra, and as we see, he just dives right in and just shoots out all his skills.
Yeah, and you can see here from a few of these turtle fights here, they're trying to do a good job. The Legend even able to take out Shark there, but a lot of these fights kind of ended up in that. There's Mikasa. I wonder if we're going to see that snipe that comes out from Hoon that lands onto Legend later on in the game. You see the final slash here coming out. Dez is powerless against as BTK comes in full force to go ahead and basically tear apart the Night Horde.
Yeah, BTK this game overall, from start to finish, they had amazing game. Oh, right there, Hoon sniping Legend. I think that was one of the first snipes. I'm pretty sure he did snipe him again later on in the game. Oh, right there!
Another snipe just takes off Legend's head, and it's just an unfortunate point for the Night Horde there, and for being a mid laner against Hoon's Novaria there. You can see here the rest of the push here, the pressure onto the mid lane, and then the flank coming in from MOBA Zane to come in with that alpha strike, and then here the last few seconds of the game is a very clean and dominating victory there for BTK.
Right, so third game of the season. I feel like for a lot of the teams, every game, as a lot of teams progress, they get more morale, and as their morale goes up, they get better. But I think for the enemy side, it's the opposite actually. Their morale goes down, and honestly, a lot of the teams just like do worse as they go. But hopefully we'll see Night Horde possibly getting a game 4 as this is going to be the last game of the night. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we're guaranteed that game 4 here. What we're not going to see tonight, unfortunately, is a game 5. BTK is already up by 3. This is just one last effort for Night Horde to kind of put something together against BTK that could possibly be successful. But man, I don't think this kind of comes as a surprise to many people here. I think a lot of people just wanted to know what kind of level that BTK was going to be on here. But Night Horde, I mean, we've seen some signs of life from them, and it is, I want to say, Dez's first outing on the main lineup of a team here. So of a lot of experience left to be gained and to be absorbed.
Yeah, I know that this is Dez's first professional scene, or not scene, but more in playing for a not professional team, but tournament, right? But I do really wish that Dez can really show us his full potential on that assassin jungle and show his fans who really is the best assassin jungler in NA. But we do have some player charts right now. So for BTK, we do have Shark. His role is the roamer. His favorite hero is Hanzo. Really interesting. His favorite player is Mao, which is gonna be Dave. His favorite hobby is Mao, and Mao is Dave. His hometown is Vietnam, and he plays on a iPhone 14 Pro Max. So it's really interesting. He put Dave on his favorite player and hobby. We should really be asking Dave later. Why so?
Mao as a favorite player and hobby, and Hanzo as his favorite hero, which is actually Dave's favorite hero too as well. Here we can see Alcyone here and a little bit of inside information for him. He plays the roam, a favorite hero Kufra, favorite player Fleur. Hobby, hiking. He loves nature. His hometown is in Castro Valley. And the device that he plays on is an iPhone 15 Pro. Little inside information there for Night Horde's roam.
Yeah, really interesting. Honestly, the hiking for a hobby, personally, I don't like going out. I mean, I don't like hiking as much, but I do like going out, but I don't like hiking. So maybe I should ask him to like tell me a lot of good hiking spots, so maybe I can start going out and touching grass and stop playing around.
Well, a great little opening there, and a great little insides that we get from a lot of these players. But ladies and gentlemen, we are moving into our last game of the night. BTK right now up 3-0. Night Horde fighting for their survival in this series, looking for a scrap, anything that they can do to combat the awe-inspiring presence of BTK.
Yeah, I really do not want to see a 4-0 on both games today. That would not be fun where each side is getting sweet. But on the bans list so far, we can see Night Horde banning out Alice, Matilda, and the Lolita, as well as in BTK banning out their own hero, Alpha, Pip, and Ling. Really interesting. Not sure why they're betting out Moba Zane's hero pool, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, and just like that, it's going to go ahead and leave open the Phoveus pick. Night Horde quickly scoops that up. And I'm not going to lie, these are the games I love to pay attention to because I need to see how you even go against a Phoveus. I mean, he has been a menace in ranked games that I've been in right now. His new kits, it's basically completely reimagined the character to even what used to counter him, like an Esmeralda used to counter him. If you try to pick an Esmeralda against the current Phoveus, you are going to get the floor mopped with you. So it's just an amazing thing that's been done with his kit, and it has really kind of turned him from that niche pick of only when you use him against dash heroes to right now, he's basically a pick or ban 100%.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you more. BTK, we do see Zane picking up that Nolan, a really interesting assassin jungle coming from the tank main himself, and Shark picking up that Arlaw. We don't see Zane on I think Nolan Law. Actually, I have actually tuned into the stream a few times and seen him on a lot of assassin heroes like Julian and Nolan. I think it's one of his better assassin champs, so I'm really interested to watch him and how he plays it in a pro scene like NACT.
I'm trying to snap him on a Nolan in NACT on stream, and I've kind of been waiting for him to kind of pull some of these picks out for the professional scene. So we're going to see how well it kind of does out here. I mean, if anybody can play it, and if anybody's been kind of using his time wisely, hopefully it's been Zane to kind of at least kind of step those toes into the meta, into the assassin meta, and see what he comes out with. But he's going to be going up against, ooh, that's an interesting pick up there with the Bane and Hayabusa combo.
Yeah, so with the Bane Hayabusa combo, I would assume that the Bane is going towards the gold lane side, and I actually have seen a few gold lane Banes instead of jungle Bane, so this is really interesting. I'm pretty sure Bane is one of Yellow's more used gold laners, so this is going to be really interesting to see, but we also use one of his more prominent assassin jungles, so something that we should also be looking out for, as he is in a matchup against Moba Zane with assassin to assassin. really fun.
The only problem here is, like, I love that they kind of baited out this pickup from Dez because, yeah, he gets his Hayabusa pickup, but you're going to be going up against a pick that can really invade you. And especially in the early game, Hayabusa is going to have a lot of trouble trying to counteract the invades that come his way. It'll be interesting to see if Night Horde is going to have some picks that can kind of wary or weather that storm. Moving into the second banning phase here, I'm assuming we're going to, well, I guess we're going to be focusing a little bit onto that mid lane.
Yeah, we do see them banning out a mid lane, as you said. Loi E ban for the first ban for BTK. I do think that Legend, even though he did get sniped a few times last game by BTK, it's something that BTK really doesn't want to go against. And I don't know if you mentioned, but we do have fried chicken on his fried horse for this game. So it'll be really interesting to see what he does on that horse. One of his more favorite EXP laners, as it was his name. Yeah, but on the side of Night Horde, we do see another Eve ban. So sad for Hoon, he's not able to use Eve for a third game as they are banning out one of his more favorite mages. And Eve is I feel like she's a really good combo with the horse, as when he charges, she's just able to run down and just place down her ultimate and just keep everyone in the team in a square and at bay.
Yeah, and the other thing too here is I'm assuming that the next one might be a Lilia ban. If not, I'm expecting Hoon to kind of scoop that up. I do understand the Lu Yi ban out there too, especially when you're using a Hylos on your team. He's basically going to be a lightning rod for your team. If he's up there in front, Lu Yi's just going to spam out abilities. And if the rest of your team is following close behind Hylos, you're going to be in a world of pain. BTK going to go ahead, take out the Angela. Oh, and they leave out the Claude, which I think might signal a Lilia pickup for Hoon.
Yeah, possibly a Lilia pickup for Hoon. I'm not really sure why they banned out the Angela for the side of Night Horde, but there are a lot of mages that are opened up. Like, we do open. I know that's one of Hoon's more favorite mages, but he does pick up the CAG. Actually, no Valentina. I think, no, actually, Kagura is one of, I think, Hoon's more favorite mages and more used mages. And with Kagura's skill combos, it's going to be really fun to watch what he can do with a Kagura Flicker or a Kagura Flame Shot or a Kagura Execute. So yeah, a lot of these skill combos on Kag, yeah.
Not just that, but she's super slippery. And if I'm not mistaken, a shadow kill onto you, I'm pretty sure you can remove it by using your umbrella escape on Kagura. So if I remember correctly, so we'll see how that actually does into it. Oh, I like this Odette pickup. The only problem is the rest of the team out there. I like the Odette in that it could possibly counter out the Nolan wherever he's at on the map. He's not going to be able to kind of get close, but you've still got the other picks you need to worry about because you're going to kind of be sitting there as a sitting duck for a final slash or a yin yang overture coming from Hoon.
Yeah, no, I do like that Odette pick, but right now we do have the new Winter Crown item. So with the Winter Crown paired with an Odette, I think that would be a really strong ultimate. If she does get caught or picked off, she can just pop that while she's in ult form and she'll be fine for like 2 seconds. But I do think that Odette was picked with the use of Carmilla, as I think that's going to be a really interesting skill combo that we're going to see together on this team. But we do see on the side of BTK, they did pick out a Sicilian. I'm not sure where that lane is going. I think he's going on gold, Sicilian gold lane. So Zia on Sicilian. That's me. Really interesting to see for this game for the side of BTK.
I'm actually kind of curious as to why that pick came out, or if it has some type of shining against Bane. From what I know, with the distance that a Sicilian has to keep from the minions, it actually kind of makes him a prime target for a Crab Claw Cannon Ricochet to come heading his way. So it'll be very interesting to see how he deals with it in the lane, or if there's maybe another mix-up that BTK is going to be going with here.
Yeah, I do think that Sicilian has to watch out for Hayabusa, as he's really squishy against Assassin like that. But as we're starting, we are getting into the game right now, so
yeah, ladies and gentlemen, your patience has been rewarded. We are here at the last match of the night. It is going to be BTK taking on GOSU, the Night Horde. Night Horde looking for any scraps they can get to mount any type of a comeback against a BTK.
As we can see on the side of Night Horde, Dez did start his orange buff, going to his blue buff right now, and Zane going towards his orange buff as he started blue. They're pretty even on the jungling right now at 45 seconds into the game.
Yeah, I mean, they're very even here, and I like this too. You're seeing a lot of protection coming out from his team. They're keeping an eye on his jungle, making sure. Ooh, snatched up very quickly. Shark dives in, Quad Shadows is out, and just like that, Alcyone gets chopped out, and that is a first blood for BTK.
Yeah, really early kill for BTK on the side of getting the Carmilla. I think Carmilla is one of the squishier roamers, so I'm not really sure how she died so early, but Dez barely living with a sliver of health. Ooh.
Yeah, you can see there, Mikasa finds a kill of his own there. Oh, FlyChicken actually might be in a little bit of trouble. Horsey trying to run away. Hoon throws an umbrella to try to slow them down, and it is a little bit effective. FlyChicken is going to be able to find the safety of his tower.
Yeah, I thought that Shark was gonna live, but Dez just coming in with his shadow kill and daggers. Ooh, also getting caught again on the mid side. I think this is another problem. This is the same problem we saw as last game, where the roamer is kind of far out by himself and not really watching the map, so he's just like an easy kill for the side of BTK.
Yeah, Mikasa actually might be in trouble. He does put on that vengeance now using the demonic form, but it's not going to be enough as Mobazane comes in, puts the boots to his neck, and that is another kill for BTK. Alcyone trying his best right now, but like you said, having problems in the roam position, kind of getting caught with none of his team in a position to help out. Shark just doing such a great job of being able to Quad Shadow goes out. It doesn't, just narrowly misses Shark. Mobazane coming in, FlyChicken from the side. It's a 3-man BTK gank. Is it going to be enough? Alcyone trying to get the heck out of Dodge is now going to have to teleport home. Dez going to start on this turtle. 4 members among BTK trying to contest this. Legend gets sought out there looking for a swan song. Can they find it? You see the chills come out there. Mobazane able to find the turtle and a kill, or no kills for them. So it is 2-3 in favor of BTK.
Yeah, even though Zane was able to retrieve that turtle, the side of Night Horde was able to get a kill onto Shark. I think that if the Carmilla actually wasn't low and did not recall, or wasn't that low to recall, she would have been, I think Night Horde would have been able to actually win over that team fight. But that team fight was a 3v4, so it was more in the favor of BTK than Night Horde.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, a little bit more even for the side of the Night Horde, but the gold is starting to kind of run away from them. They need to kind of be able to, I feel like they've kind of sprung a leak right now, and they need to be able to plug it if they want to have a chance going into the mid game, going into the late game, especially going into a late game where both of these mages are going to start shining. Oh,
yeah,
man.
As we can see the gold charts right now, we did see that Mobazane was 1k gold ahead of Dez on jungle, as he did get his first item, Hunter Strike. So really good start for BTK.
And this is the problem there. You saw Mikasa face check that bush. A great read by BTK, having 3 members in that bush and then reading the face check there coming out from the side of Mikasa.
Yeah, as we can see, BTK is walking together as a team going to the top side, but we do see Night Horde, they are coming up there.
Oh, no follow-up as the Curse of Blood goes out. It does look like Alcyone gets taken out yet again. This might have been, I want to say that this really wasn't even his fault. That the team kind of backed up. I'm not sure if there was any mention there. Zia gets caught with a shadow kill. Dez finds a kill for himself.
Yeah, like I said earlier, Zia has to be careful of that Hayabusa. It's one of the things that he really cannot run away from. If the Hayabusa latches onto him, he's just dead right there. And as we said earlier, I think Alcyone, he was like a little bit out. I think that it was because he thought that his team was gonna follow up or engage, but his team wasn't really there. I don't know where the Odette was. If the Odette was there, I think that would have been a really good team fight.
Mikasa gets taken down. Alcyon's going to be next on the list. It is a trio of BTK roaming around the map. Shark in a little bit of trouble here, getting chopped down by Des and Yellow. They're going to find a kill. Des with the quad shadow secures, I want to say, the space he needs to be able to pick up this purple buff. But at the bottom, Mobazane already going to work to steal his orange.
Yeah, we can see Dez is actually doing a good job right now, as his KDA is 202, but still behind Mobazane. We do have gold charts up right now, and we can see that a lot of the gold, like Hood on the Kagura, 700 gold up from the Odette. But on the gold lane, we do see that both of the gold laners are pretty even, with Yellow being a little bit higher than Zia on Cecilian in the gold lane.
Yeah, starting to mount about a 4K gold lead for the side of BTK. 4 to 8 right now, trying to do the best they can. You can see when it comes to kind of, actually there, Alcyon might be in a little bit of trouble here. Gets caught by Mobazane. He does have the vengeance out. He is going to be taken out by Zane, and diving into the back line. Dez not able to find the kill. Fly the Chicken comes in with that Hylos, not able to find a kill. Swan Song finds its mark onto Zia, and that might be Ultra Mode. Fly Chicken marching forward. We do have the demonic force laying waste, trying to put the damage onto BTK, but Mobazane is there to clean up shop.
Yeah, honestly, that looked like a really good fight for Nighthorde, but they just did not put the execution out there, as BTK were one step ahead of them. They did fall, but they did get half of the team. Mobazane being on a legendary streak with the KDA of 8, 0, and 4. We're going to have an instant replay of that team fight right here.
Yeah, you see from the quad shadows going in there. They tried their best. Dez gets picked off along with Legend, and on the backside, Mikasa tried the best he could with that demonic force, but it was already too late with so many members of BTK there to clean it up.
Right, I do see on the side of Nighthorde, the roamer is at 0 and 6, which is, compared to the rest of his teammates' KDA, he does look like a feeder right now. I feel like he is engaging a lot of times when he should not be, and when he does have good engages, his team is not with him. So that's like a really big problem, where I think communication would be key for Nighthorde in actually having team fights, having good team fights.
A little bit of a fat finger there from Mobazane. Tries to go in on Legend, misses, uses his fracture, doesn't land. But that is going to go ahead, push Nighthorde away to the mid tower while they go ahead, clean themselves up the third turtle.
Yeah, so Zane just instantly got that third turtle.
Yeah, you see there now Mikasa trying to find himself a kill there. Zia finds one onto Alcyon there. Fly Chicken able to take out Mikasa. Legend is down as well. That is 4 down. Dez returns to the map. He's like, what happened? Where'd everybody go? It is him. Oh, finds a kill, a shadow kill onto Shark, and able to stop him from going home.
Yeah, you know, I felt like that Nighthorde probably should have contested that turtle. I'm not really sure why they gave it free to Mobazane when they knew he already retreated like a second before on a Legend on the mid lane. But the whole team did get wiped off, which is really surprising, as they were all basically under their towers. So it just really truly shows the domination of BTK and their 7K gold lead right now.
Yeah, it's very interesting here. Mobazane gets caught there. A little bit of a demonic force issued out to Hoon and Zane, but they do both split up and back up into their towers.
Yeah, great game for BTK right now, as they are ahead in objectives with getting all 3 turtles right now. Only having 2 towers so far in the 9 minutes. I think when we watched a lot of the other games, they did actually get more towers, but maybe it's because they really don't have a tower pusher on this team with just the Sicilian on their gold lane. So yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I got, you know, I was about to say, I guess maybe Mobazane would kind of be filling that role. Ooh, I have a little bit of game coming at the bottom there. Alcyon's going to have to get the heck out of dodge. He's trying to save that orange buff. Mobazane comes in and picks off Legend with the help of the Sicilian pick there. Zia finds himself a kill. We do have the deadly catch going out. Mobazane gets wide of it. Alcyon next on the list. This is going to be an orange buff going over to BTK. Look at the sieging potential coming out of this team.
Ooh, did you see Hoon's Kagura TikTok right there? I'm not sure if you saw it, but yeah, that's what I'm talking about with heroes like Kagura. They're really versatile in their skill combos and tricks that she can do. I wish I could do that. I can't do that. I can only do the basics, but yeah, really great gameplay.
I can get a couple of auto attacks out there, maybe a flicker in the wrong direction. Speaking of which, almost gets taken out. Mobazane comes in there, tries for a fracture, is not able to catch it. In the back line, Fly Chicken looking for a kill onto Legend, not able to find it. But on his heels, Zia and Shark there to go ahead and help secure his escape, while they leave it up to only high ground towers left for GOSU Night Horde.
Yeah, right now at 10 minutes into the game, the scoreboard is 8-20, and all of Night Horde are just huddling and hiding under that mid-inhib tower, waiting to see what will come next.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's not a lot that they can do right now. They're starting to fall. They're already. It's at least a 10K gold lead for BTK here at the 11-minute mark. We have the first Lord starting to barrel its way down to the bottom lane, and we're going to see where that BTK can go ahead and sync. If they're going to be able to sync up all of these lanes and get a pressure, full map pressure for this next push.
Yeah, as we can see, they are sinking the waves right now for the side of BTK. Lord is crashing on the bot side. Possibly BTK could end the game right now at around 12 minutes in the game with this one Lord.
It does look like they are still waiting for that top lane. A little bit of a recall there at the mid. Lord taken down very quickly by the side of Night Horde there. And it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get too much damage. Another wave coming in here. We do see that passive coming off from the tower. Fly Chicken going to look to dive in. We do have the deadly catch coming out from the side of Night Horde. Mobazane able to find himself a kill. Hood finds one in the Alcyon. And Dez able to take down Mobazane. Are they going to be able to turn this around? I don't think so. That's 4 down for Night Horde. It's just Legend alone running for the hills, alone to tell the story of what happened to his mates as 3 members of BTK come in and seal the job. That is going to be a clean sweep for BTK.
Currently they could be ending, but they are just waiting to end the match as they know they won. But actually, not a game ender right now. Yeah, but that's what in yellow BC. Ooh.
Yeah, unfortunately, they didn't want to end it right there, so Alcyon's going to go ahead and take a kill. They actually allowed them to kind of push back there. It's at the core sitting there at 50%, and they did just get pushed back a little bit. I mean, looking for them stats, I guess, is BTK.
Yeah, I mean, there was the game screen ending right there then, but I guess BTK just said, no, we don't want to end right now. We want to give them a chance, or actually we want to play around with Night Horde for a bit until we can actually end for real. So it does give Night Horde a chance to actually come back a little bit, as BTK did kind of troll a little bit before ending.
Oh my god, look at the damage going on with Fried Chicken on that Hylos. Absolutely decimating Legend. Now diving in. 4 members here he's taking right now as BTK coming in to finish the job. Vengeance is not going to be enough to save them. Hoon finds himself a kill onto Mikasa as well. Shadow kill drops Fly Chicken very low, but that's going to be all she wrote for Yellow. Are we going to finally end this suffering for Night Horde? Death finds a kill onto Shark, and Yellow finds one onto Hoon. That is gonna be a wrap, a 4-game win sweep for BTK.
Yeah, honestly, that last game, really interesting. The side of BTK winning and having the scoreboard going for 31-12, with Mobazane getting yet another MVP with the score of 11-1-13 on the board.
Yeah, and this is makes me wonder, are we seeing the Mobazane assassin arc right now? Is he starting to dip his toes into that side of the meta? It's kind of hard to ignore, especially with so many powerful assassins out there. But I want to say this time, it looks like BTK selected to ban a lot of those assassins. The only one that they really used was that Nolan, and very successful was Mobazane on it. A 12-31 victory for the BloodThirstyKings.
Yeah, as you can see on the scoreboard right now, Zayn having the most damage on the game right now at 72k with similar pushing stats to his team, as well as being in basically most of the team fights. His stats are pretty even and similar to the other games as he has gotten MVP for. And yeah, this game was really just one-sided going for BTK.
Man, what a rough game for Alcyon, the roamer for the Night Horde. Just every opportunity that he got caught out, BTK was right there to deliver punishment for it. And it was a wrap after that. I mean, once you start falling behind of a Nolan, there's just not much that he's not going to be able to burst down from you. You see here, again, when it comes to the objectives 1 to 10, once they get that ball rolling, it's very hard to stop a BTK.
Yeah, looking at the objectives too, we do see BTK having the highest objective score at 10 and Nighthorde only having 1. So we can see that BTK did dominate basically, actually no, all of the games so far for today. All 4 games, clean sweep for them. And I think great job towards BTK and their debut with their new lineup.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to have to go against a team like BTK in your first match of the season, but BTK really kind of setting the standard here for North America, letting them know what you are going to be up against. And if you want to have a chance to take them on, you're going to have to step up your game.
Yeah, actually looking at the drafts, I feel like BTK was kind of trolling a little bit. I'm not really sure about you guys, but a Sicilian gold lane, what do you guys think?
Well, I guess they are trying to learn from some MPL plays. But overall, it was a great series coming from BTK. The ending got me a little bit paranoid ever since MSC. I almost thought they couldn't have ended that game. But in the end, they were just playing around, and it was a dominating performance coming from BTK.
Yeah, very dominant, and you would expect nothing less from the grand finalists of last season as well. So hats off to them for a very dominating, and they got better and better, just as we saw from the last series, better and better every series here. And then that kind of brings up the question: is once it gets to 2 games, once it gets to 1 game, is it impossible for one of those teams to kind of pull themselves out of the rut, pull themselves together, and be able to kind of mount a comeback?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like that with BTK's new lineup, I think a lot of BTK fans were really hoping that BTK would come in and sweep the team GOSU Nighthorde, and yes, which they did do for today. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what they have forth for us in the upcoming matches against a lot of our newer teams, a lot of our newer upcoming NA teams in NACT.
Yeah, that is not to say that GOSU Nighthorde didn't do a great performance. It's just they need to build up that chemistry. And with the upcoming matches, with this format, the Swiss format, they really have an opportunity to step up their game and really adjust their mentality. It's really about the mental game. If you lose the first game, you can still come back, and really all that matters is the points. And with that being said, we have an interview with BTK. Wow, look who's here, the Mobile Zane himself. Hello.
What's up?
Yeah, I noticed you were smiling a lot after every series. You just happy to be back to the NACT?
Yeah, that last game was pretty fun though, so everybody was kind of messing around, so I was laughing a lot about that.
Yeah, speaking about the last game, you guys pulled out the Sicilian. Is that Skylar RQ kind of tryout? Why is Sicilian viable in the role lane?
Honestly, I don't even know if he is. Just Dia wanted to go home and mess around for the last game. I don't know if it's good or not.
And you approved of it?
I think it worked good, yeah.
Yeah, and for you, we noticed that you pulled out the Nolan as well as the Roger. And before M3, and even for M3, you were always known as the godly and marksman player. But it seems like people are forgetting your name. Now they refer to you as a tank jungle. Is that the reputation that you are going for?
As what, a tank jungler?
Yeah. As a tank
no,
main.
I mean, not necessarily, no. It was just because they were so strong. I mean, before tanks were around, I was playing damage, so it's gonna take a little bit of time to get back into playing damage for the team again, but overall things are going well, and every day it feels better to be playing damage.
And we're excited to see how you perform this season. Does BTK have a coach, I wonder? Because on the on the sign-up sheet, you guys don't have a coach put in yet. So what is going on with the coach situation?
We do have a coach. I don't know if I'm supposed to make it public who he is, but we've been working with a coach, not for too many scrims, not too much yet, but we're working with somebody else.
Yeah, and I think it will really help out the teams. And your previous team for MSC, C9, will be playing tomorrow. What are your thoughts of the new C9 with Naz as the XP laner?
Who do they go versus tomorrow?
That is a great question. That I will have to check. All the viewers will get to know from the community post right after this stream. But regardless, how are your thoughts on the new C9?
I think they're pretty good, but I'm not too worried for the season, even if they have nods, because to me, I'm in BTK, I'm super comfortable. I know the whole team is super comfortable, so not to say we're taking this season lightly, but it feels very good to be back.
Yeah, it's like you're back home again, and with the name BTK. And for all the viewers out there, tomorrow they're going to be playing against Accelerate. It will be C9 versus Accelerate. And last question. So Joybotch actually shouted you out in a previous interview today that he is the most excited to go up against, and I quote, his daddy Zane. What is your response to that?
I saw that, yeah. He messaged me after and said if I saw it. I'm excited to go versus him too. I need my revenge on Shiro when he beat me on YSS.
Yeah, and we're excited to see that as well. Good job on all the games today, and we're excited to see BTK in their power meta in this season.
Alright, thank you for having me.
Wow.
I mean, expect nothing less from MOBA Zane. Then they are, I want to say a lot of the questions around it will be, how is the synergy going to be? How is the communication between the team? As there were some issues, and that's kind of why Zane decided to kind of separate from C9 and come together here with his old friends. And I mean, what's a dominating performance to come back to here for BTK?
Yeah, first interview from BTK coming from Zayn. Really interesting and fun to listen to what he has to say. And I'm really excited to watch future matches with other teams that are going to come out for NACT.
Yeah, and I think we can expect to see more assassin or more damage jungler coming from Zayn. I feel like he's just adjusting to whichever meta is the strongest, and I believe that BTK will be the menace that they are throughout the season, and all the team members will be adjusting to whichever meta it is. And let's take a look. Private answer, let's take a look at a rewind of today's tournaments.
Yeah, we can see here 2 clean sweeps. Match 1 went over to the very dominating opening for Godspeed. Unfortunately, for last minute, they just had a heck of a rough time there. Oh man, a little bit of confusion there. Cloud9 sneaking in there. Match 2 though, BTK. I don't think anybody expected this to go any other way. Unfortunately for the Night Horde, the GOSU Night Horde fans, BTK just right now showing that they are basically at the top of their game.
Yeah, I think today was really fun to watch, but I'm really sad that both of the games were clean sweeps, with match 1 going to Godspeed with 4-0 and match 2 going to BTK 4-0. Hopefully tomorrow we'll have more exciting games where the teams are actually might go into game 5 instead of having just a clean sweep.
I mean, we're all excited to see that, but nonetheless, 4-0 just shows how strong the teams are. And regardless, we'll have 4 games tomorrow, 4 games in the morning and 4 games at night. So a lot to look forward to. And that kind of wraps up our first tournament day. I'm so excited to be here with both of you guys. It's been a long time. And for Sayuri, you did a great job today. any last words coming in from our casters before we end the day?
Well, if anything, right now, a lot of teams trying to prove that they are at the top of their game here in North America. And if you want to beat or even compete at the top of North America, you're going to have to step up your game. We saw Godspeed, one of those teams who has not been very well known, just came together for this NACT. I'm excited to see what some of the new teams can show us tomorrow as well.
Yeah, like Prive said, I'm really excited for a lot of the newer teams and their performance for NACT tomorrow. As I said earlier, I really don't want a 4-0. I wish a lot of the teams may have a 2-2 so we can go to a game 5 and see who actually stands out on top. But the season has been really interesting. A lot of older teams did get knocked out in qualifiers, and a lot of new stars are rising up for the season. So yeah. Really fun.
And we really hope that tomorrow the teams will be taking out at their best of the best and get Sayuri the 2-0 that she wanted. Sayuri will be casting as well for tomorrow, so make sure you guys tune in tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to see Sayuri and to see your favorite teams compete. And with that being said, thank you guys for joining us today. Thank you for your patience during that 1 hour pause, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I'm your host Liz. I'll see you tomorrow.
You can sing my song if you want. I know you want it. It's always kind of funny, yeah. Cause I know I'm a superstar in the sky to lead you on. Haters gonna hate us, approve of how they love. They can bring me down, nah. They are jealous of me and my umbrella, yeah. They love me so. This is me, I'm so royal, and you all wanna be round. Yeah, you all wanna be round. Round a champion, a champion. This is me, I'm still on it. Cause you all wanna be loved. Yeah, you all wanna be loved. But a champion, yeah. All I wanna do is just say, you don't understand how I play. I am on my way to win you over and over, yeah. Oh, you can hear my voice in your head, and you wanna hear it again. So you play it over and over and over, yeah. Champion, champion.